All right, I know we had confirmation of notice of this meeting.
Yes, we have.
This should be short and sweet, hopefully. But
Never have.
let's jump down to old business. John, your treasurer's report will be ready.
Great.
Okay. Also, speaking on that, the audit is completed. There is a draft copy that we, and there will be, I spoke with John Scott, a digital copy of the audit to go on the website.
Plus, Sue just was giving me the
Stink eye?
the fish eye of the eagle eye.
No.
Saying, because we had a deal that she was gonna meet with the auditor, but the auditor never really came back, so. But we have two issues, because we have a draft. And one of them is the $40,000, so we'll have that resolved before the final audit, so.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to give you my copy of the draft if you want to take a look at it. Because there's so many pages to print, we didn't want
Yeah, I
to do a
understand.
pre-draft or after, before draft.
But it is complete, the draft is done. I spoke with John Scott personally because it was suggested, requested by the IT to see if we can get a digital copy this time to put up on the owner's side of the website so the owners have an idea what's going on. And John Scott told me to do that along with the hard copies that you'll all get, okay?
And of course, it'll be on the private side of the website.
Exactly. Let's get into the second floor walkway.
All right, unit's 580, which means the lower unit, so it means there's two involved when it's done. But 580, 592, and 436 are complete.
Good.
And we're about to start on 150 and 52 next week. 151, it's Rogers, it's 151, 150.
150 and 51?
Thank you.
150 and 151.
They've been running about the same price? Jim?
Yeah, we haven't seen the bill on the 436. It should be a little bit less because there was less work in both places, but we'll see.
Hopefully we'll be able to have a good average cost of doing the unit pretty soon. The other thing is, I know all that edging, that rubber edging that cost us a lot of heartache and grief, that's basically gone.
It's been removed, all of the fronts, 99% of the backs. There's a couple plant beds that are out in the middle of grassy areas that he has to finish up. But I've been getting communication from a few owners, almost 9 or 10, that were upset with the rubber being removed because they feel it now will cause dirt and mulch and what have you to run on the sidewalk. But I explained to each one, and we'll get into it in a minute with insurance. But the liability far exceeds the ability to care and maintain for these plant beds. So they all have been understanding.
And we also put out too, after this is done, there's nothing else going to replace it. So if anybody asks, there's nothing else going to be except grass. And it gives the guys a better line to do the edging.
Yeah, and the two that are directly, the two slip and falls that are directly attributed to this were very serious.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies planted their faces in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It was not good. Both of them were, well, the unit owner that, our unit owner is recovered well. We haven't heard from the lady that doesn't live here.
So,
Dan, I have a question. I noticed, I don't know which unit, but when you walk past, Oak and you go in the back there to go to the pool, there's a box that's enclosed with some wires, it stands about this high on the ground.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was damaged, and I meant to call you, I don't know if you have seen it.
Where
Looked
was
like
it?
somebody ran into it or something.
Is it two?
No, it's rectangular,
Okay.
and there's lots of wires inside.
It's probably a cable box.
Yes, and it looks like somebody ran into it or something.
Where's it, on the way to pool 4?
Yeah, whichever pool mine is.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Maybe pool 7.
Pool 7.
Yeah, so like, you know what, you'd walk through my Oak and then take the grass, not the road.
Yeah.
But you take the grass to the pool and there's like a rectangular
Mm-hmm.
structure and inside are all kinds of wires.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. As a matter of fact, I found one yesterday where the cable company had worked in the 500s, and they have a big box mounted on a wall, and they forgot to put the cover back on and all the wires. I mean, how can you have a box that's 3 by 3 and they just leave the cover off. But yes, okay, thank you, I'll check that out today.
All right, the next thing is, remember when we had the satellite photograph that was presented to us with a superimposed
Yes.
yellow line? And we
How
kind
true
of-
is that?
Well, it wasn't. We were right. We were right in the decision
Oh,
in
wow.
getting the surveyor. However, there's always good news and there's always bad.
Uh-huh, we got an attorney involved, right?
Huh?
We got an attorney involved? Is that the bad
Well,
news?
well,
Oh, sorry.
No,
we had, the surveyor did come in, did shoot the line properly. We found that we were half right as far as where the marker is.
Really?
Part of that property is theirs, turned out,
Wow.
okay?
we lost about half of our
Half
lake
of our
bank.
lake,
What?
On the big lake, we've lost about half of the bank itself, about the bank and maybe 3 feet toward the buildings. It comes from, actually the lift station out there is on our property.
Oh, stop.
yeah.
But their pump and well and everything else is on their property. And if this is the lake, I'm sorry, this is the lake, it comes here and about the midpoint, there's a catch basin right here, about halfway across the lake. And their property has about 3.5 to 4 feet here, including the lake bank. So everything that we've been cutting the grass and trimming the lake bank for the last 20 years is not up.
And once
Oh,
we,
yeah.
once we
And
got,
the stakes are out there, anybody wants to go see them.
once we got that report from the surveyor, John and I got together and we talked about it. I asked John to go ahead and ask Dan Holbeck, our attorney, to give an opinion, so we have some answers for today that we can discuss. And you all received the email.
I sent an email to everybody yesterday, so
I
got
they
it.
could take a look at it early, because it's complex.
It is really involved. We have been taking care of the property for some 20 years.
20?
Oh, yeah.
We know it, we
But that
have a
know,
witness
that
for
we-
20 years.
That we can prove 20 years, okay? But it's gonna be up to us if we wanna pursue it. Dan's opinion is in there, and it's very complex opinion. Part of it is that for those 20 years, we've been expending owners' money by caring for that
Yeah, right.
without really, and it wasn't willfully, or it was just unknowingly expending association and owners' funds caring for that piece of property. All right. The next step is, do we want to pursue it? And pretty much, I feel like I know what the questions are gonna be, how much it's gonna cost. And it's gonna be a lot of bucks.
What exactly?
Pursue it
pursue-
for what?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that, being that we've taken care of it, what's the legal term?
Is that like common law?
Legal term.
Easement.
It's ours because of common law?
Prescriptive easement is what it's called. It's
But yeah,
not
he actually said
eminent
there's
domain.
2, yeah.
It's not eminent domain. Eminent domain is when the government grabs land.
Right.
Okay, that's totally
But it's
different.
not adverse possession either, as Dan explained it, there's adverse possession, but he said we wouldn't qualify for that.
But the one for prescriptive easement, it's gonna take a lot of work and some expenditure of dollars. John, you were first.
Yeah.
The situation is this, so they own that property, and we've been taking care of it.
Right.
If we stop taking care of it, what rights do we have to make them maintain it? Number one. Number two is the fact that if we have no legal right to say then, do this with your monies, what can we do then?
Yeah, well, as far as taking care of, we have no right to force them to take care of the property.
Why not? Because it affects ours.
No, you can't.
No, can't.
I mean, here's a case in point, John. I'm just gonna throw it out there. The tree that came down a couple of weeks ago that
Yes.
we took care of, that our guys came in, our security notified us about it. Our guys came in, cut it up, and pushed it to the side of the road. It's still sitting there. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Well, they got it yesterday.
Did they get it?
Yeah. but
So,
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, they picked it up.
They just don't have the money.
I don't know.
No.
I don't wanna get
Well,
involved with other associations, I
Right,
got enough to
We
deal
have
with
no idea
ours.
why they didn't pick it up.
We
Their
don't know.
groundskeepers were there 3 times, and maybe they didn't realize that they were supposed to pick it up. Maybe they weren't directed to pick it up. Maybe their manager didn't ask them. We don't
There's a lot
know.
of
But it is
unknowns.
gone now, but it was there for almost 3 weeks.
Well,
My
go ahead.
question is, okay, it's not our property, we can't maintain it. When it comes to pursuing other venues to take care of it, I think we need to check with the people that it affects, because they're the ones that it's going to ruin their views. They're the ones that are
Yes.
being exposed to all the drama to this.
Yeah, aren't there only like 4 units there?
There's maybe, I think 6.
Not the top floor, cause that
Yeah,
was fine.
no, there is no really the top floor that's affected there. There's about 6 units that are
6
affected.
units.
As you, the
Yeah.
first ones
So we're
that
talking
you
about
come
Well,
in,
like
or-
if you know where Stanley Tucci lives,
No, but the door, the O'Connors, is that
How
part
how
of it?
about Jane Conway, everybody know Jane?
no, she's nowhere near there.
Okay, that's not part of it?
No, no, no.
Oh, that's by the list.
No, it's behind the, it's behind the 700s, not the 600s.
700.
It comes along, so it's,
I have to look at it.
it's, if you know where Tucci lives, if you knew where,
Yeah, field trip.
Marion and
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
there's
know
about
where
6
they
units
live.
there.
Okay, as you're headed towards 34th Street,
It's
is it
on the
on the
left
right,
side.
it's on the left
Left,
side?
Yeah.
left
It's on the
side,
left
left
side.
side.
And then,
It's that lake, the big, big
I know,
lake.
but it's the back people, like,
That's the back people, O'Connor's there,
that face the lake,
you know.
But they don't have a
the
door.
ones that
How
face the
much,
lake.
John, how much space is there between our unit and the pond itself, or the lake itself?
How about 30 feet?
So if they do nothing and let it forever run, we could have 5-foot high grass and
Oh,
so
well,
on.
you could have 5-foot high grass and the trimming that we do, every 2 years, it's so high that nobody can see. So, I mean, I've been, this is my 3rd time we were trimming every other year.
Well, let's say this is the
And
end.
that's when they stopped us
The
without
lake
finish.
is here.
It's amazing
They
how
do
far it
not
comes
have
over.
direct view. Sorry.
Tammy asked me a question the other day, I mean, and about the pine tree, that dead pine tree, well, that is on that property, and what, could it fall into the lake? Yeah, is that a good thing? No.
Because that is right on the water, it's maybe 4 or 5 feet,
Off
you
the
know,
lake.
in the muck right there. And that would be the first to go, you can already see it's turning yellow and there's no green up at the very top, and there's no, you know, those little green pines that are coming out.
There is a visible stake, the stake is about 36 inches high, it's a wooden stake, and it's got a chartreuse ribbon on it that you can see waving, so if you wanted to drive by there and take a look. if you
Well, there's
want-
actually 5 stakes if you come back.
Well, yeah, but the one that's
It comes
closest to the
line.
lake, you can have a real good idea where the line is gonna be, John.
Other than the view of these 6 homeowners, does it have any effect on our property at all?
Other than the view,
Yes.
no. I don't see how it could, other than the maintenance of it in a manner that seems integral with every other place we maintain.
Well, my only point is that, you know, our exposure there is really only 6 owners in their view, not a case where it's gonna fall down on us,
Right.
or we're gonna have bugs more than we had before.
Well, there's no, the bugs are there, I mean, that is a constant, there's
Yes.
there's a gnat situation in there, I don't know how or
That little
why.
swale
Yeah,
where
well, you
it's
go
filled
down
with
in that
water,
little
yeah.
swale, whoo. And there's even a carve out into those bushes where it looked like a homeless cave.
Yeah.
But Jeff tells me the maintenance guy for the other place hangs out there half the day with, it's his debris. I didn't know that.
It's his man cave.
Yeah.
It's his man cave.
Yeah.
John brought up another point, and I was wondering if we could find out, who's been paying taxes? Are
Well,
we paying?
No, we're not paying taxes.
Have we been paying property
According to,
taxes?
no, you know, the common area taxes are into each one of your bills. Everybody pays 558.
558%.
If that's the exact line, then they probably have been paying taxes on that. If that's the recorded line,
Who's they?
they, the other
Tidewater.
association.
Tidewater,
owners,
Tidewater Association.
John, are we going to be able, let's say the unit is here, how far from that unit to where their property begins?
About 20 feet.
So we could continue to at
Oh,
least
we
mow
still-
that area,
oh, yeah,
keep that neat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that's key. I
Well,
think.
it seems to me that one of the things you might want to consider,
Is it here?
Is this, where's the road? This is the road, right?
Road's right here.
That's it.
you done. One of the things you might want to consider is that maybe we could enter or propose an agreement with Tidewater to say, okay, it's yours, but ours has been maintained like this, and our owners have had a view for 20 years. Would you maintain it in the same manner? And ask them if they would. I don't know what the response is gonna be, because they caused this issue to start with, because they don't wanna look at
They
our
don't wanna
buildings.
look at our buildings.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
Do we know if that was a board action by them or
this
just
is-
an
this is
individual who
43.
Yeah,
spoke?
it's
Well,
Okay, then I got it, okay.
2 years ago when I did
It's gotta be
it,
right there.
Yeah, it's got it right there.
2 years ago when we trimmed, one lady called up and just was screaming at me for 2 days. This was a different lady that came over this time, and she contended she was the president of the association.
She beat them up.
But I did hear from the other lady also.
Well, I guess my question is,
So and I also heard through the grapevine, or Debbie, I don't know what happened to Debbie, where'd she go?
She's in the potty.
Oh, Debbie inferred that they had a board meeting regarding the subject, and they were gonna offer to pay $500 of the $2,000. But I've never gotten any confirmation of that, which, since it's gone in their favor, maybe that'd be, at least we can get the $500 from them.
Or they're gonna
Don't
say,
tell
oh,
'em.
too bad on you.
Don't tell them, what, they're seeing the stakes right now, I'm sure they're dancing.
Yeah, yeah. You can't miss the stakes.
Yeah. So what I think what we should do, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think what we should do is decide different options that
Well, that's why
we
we're
want to,
discussing.
well, no, but put those options out there and walk through those, and then have a powwow with them and see what they wanna do.
We know what they want to do, they want us to restrict it.
Well,
Debbie,
no.
did you see something, you got some information back about, they have some interest in contributing to the
Yes,
cost?
$500, yeah.
$500.
And I forwarded all that to you,
Yeah, I know you did, but I wanted to
Is
verify
that
it.
still in play?
as far as I know, yeah.
What do
Nobody
we
else
want?
changed that.
Well, John,
That's the question.
They want us to stop maintaining that.
stop maintaining that.
No, but is that what we wanna do?
No, yeah,
Oh, we have no
Plain
choice.
I thought you said, what do they want?
No, I don't care about that right now, but what do we want? We don't, if it only affects 6 out of 558, and that's only a marginal disruption of view, there's still view there, then do we just say, hey, take it, boys, and keep it going?
We have to ask.
Well, unless you were one of the six.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's true, and
Exactly.
you've got a good point.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because
they
we're
bought
all
those units for
representing
them.
that six.
Excellent point.
And all of those owners bought those places thinking they had this gorgeous view and this gorgeous lawn. And if we say,
Yeah,
sorry, I don't want, but I do
It's up to
think we
them.
should go on a field.
And we should go look at it, everybody should go.
But I
Just watch out for the
Well, why don't you,
snakes.
this
watch out for
is
snakes.
Tuesday, I think that, would it be reasonable to say that everybody could go before next Monday's meeting?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then, so we're having a discussion, open discussion now, and
Yes.
still might have to have it at the meeting, but it's not like you have to make a decision today.
I just wanted this
Fine.
information available today, so we
Right.
can discuss it and get an idea of what we're up against.
If you go out toward 34th
Right.
on Oakview Drive, you stop right there at the lift station, and you can easily walk and see everything. And you'll go out to the lake, it's about a 30-40 foot walk out to the lake, you can
John.
see the stakes.
John Humphrey.
Yeah, reading that document, there was something about, we've been doing it so long that that's kind of like, they've given up the right to tell us what we can do.
cost.
However, you have to prove that in court, you have to have a court decision to come down and the judge to say, yes, that's right, and that's your property. Okay, now, yeah, we can pursue that aspect, but to litigate something like that is very costly.
But will they?
But look,
Cost them
they
money
have
too.
less
They're not
money
gonna
to
do
do
Well,
it.
are we taking the stance? I'm just playing devil's
I don't
advocate.
think they're gonna do that.
Are we taking the stance now that our pocketbook is bigger than your pocketbook type of thing?
Well, we know that because they only got 24
Well, yeah, we
units.
know that, we
Yeah.
do know that.
We should probably just go over there and find out what they want, because I think it's, they don't wanna see our buildings, is what,
They don't
when
want us to
Dee
trim
first-
or maintain the area,
Yes.
that's
What they-
very clear.
Well, that's-
Well, they didn't wanna see our buildings, because they had a
right.
beautiful block.
Right.
And that's just her opinion, she just doesn't want that.
Right.
And she was the only one, I think, that objected, I'm not sure if the other people did, because on the corner, they've got a courtyard, so they don't see anything of the lake.
Well, you're
But then
talking about
there's
a
couple
single
ones-
lady, their board, their president told me they didn't want us to maintain anything there.
Oh, really, okay,
Yeah.
see, I didn't hear
Very
that.
clear,
I didn't hear
yeah.
that. I just thought it was.
And we
nice, they could
maintain
see
about
the-
60, 70 feet and have
Wow.
maintained.
And
And we got about 55 or 60 feet of the 70, 75 feet cut, and that's when they stopped us.
One
So
thing,
it's still about 15 feet we would have normally cut.
one suggestion that came to my attention by a board member, and I'm not gonna mention his name, John, was to put up a big fence, and on one side of the fence, and neon lights, put Wildwood Springs condominium.
And then they're gonna have a gun out there, shoot the lights out, right?
Jim, I have a question about, I guess I would say personal authority of board members.
Uh-huh.
Do we know if their board has taken action
Yes,
that the
any,
president,
exactly.
so to speak, spoke to John about? Because none of us have the authority as
Right.
individuals.
To
So
do
my
that.
question would be, and I'm picking up on what Debbie said over here, that my question would be, can we approach the board, if we have, and then this is new, but if we haven't approached the board officially by one of the representatives, either John or you or somebody, to go to the board and say, this is the problem, these are the proposals, and have them take an official vote on their position rather than hearsay. Now, if they've already done that, what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
suggesting.
hearsay because they've had their manager come to me
Then, to me, that,
and confirm that they don't want us to touch that property. He came in here with the bogus maps and everything else.
That's why
and
we.
to my opinion on that would be, he or she does not have the authority other than to express their
Unless
opinion.
we've
That
seen
must be a formal board
In
action.
my opinion, it has been.
You think that they
Oh,
have done
no
that?
question about it. The manager told me that.
Okay.
So basically what we have is them saying they want us to do nothing, and us saying we want to do this.
We wanna maintain
You think
it
we
no
can
matter
come
what
up
we
with a
have.
Well, I
compromise?
don't think we have to do anything yet, we have to go look at the property
Exactly.
and come back and then come up with.
Right, please do that. Please
It
do
could be
that.
that we're talking about a spot like this. We can
May
decide.
not
That
even
could be, no, it's about
It's
30, 40,
30
50
feet.
feet.
But
30 feet.
they
Well-
don't have the results of
They
the survey.
see them.
Oh,
They
you
see-
can
they
see the
Right.
survey stakes.
Right, but they didn't pay for it, and even though the stakes are there, they haven't come to anything on their half to say, oh no, we're demanding you. They're just saying, well, we don't want you to do this.
No, they were demanding, pretty
demanding.
demanding.
Yeah, they weren't
They're
demanding.
gonna take us to court?
They weren't demanding.
Well,
Doesn't make any
she
difference.
threatened to
It's not
call the
property.
police. She was gonna call the police if I didn't have our boys stopped.
And the cops would have come and said it was a civil matter, and that's.
When you go there now, and this would be the Oakview Drive, and you go this way, you'll see that this whole area of our lake has been cleaned and trimmed. When you get over here, you'll see a partial trimming. And then a stop, and where it stopped, you can see how high everything grows because we couldn't finish trimming everything there. Now, it's only maybe another 10 feet that we didn't finish, but that'll give you an idea in 2 years what the growth is, because everything else is nice and low.
I just don't want this to turn into an, oh yeah, we can do it because we're big.
Yeah.
And we're gonna
Well, that's how
fight
you
you
gotta
guys
look
and
at
spend
it.
$10,000 on a 6-foot patch of leaves that
Doesn't make
frankly isn't worth anything to anybody but 6 people.
That's why we're discussing.
Yeah, I personally, I have a heartburn about expending owners' money to could come
On
up
the other
with 10
hand,
grand.
what John says is
And
this
then we
is
could lose.
protecting all of
We
us.
could lose.
Yeah, you're looking at a minimum of $5,000 to $7,000 if
Right.
you go into litigation, minimum.
At least.
But if we can't do that,
On a
like I say,
crapshoot,
and ask for
because we can lose.
$500, if we find that the owners want us to do that. They may not, they may say they don't care. You gotta look at it first and talk to them.
They care.
No, they do.
I mean, they're
I
zealous
would
on
care,
this.
I would care if that were one of my units, if
I
I
don't
bought
know,
a
I haven't seen
property.
it yet.
No,
to
but on
see
the
if
other
it's
side,
blocking them.
the other side, people are zealous. They
Well,
really
she's
are.
talking about our.
You're talking about our
No,
people?
our people,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I get requests there if it comes up 1.5 feet to have it trimmed. And I said, no, we can't, we don't do that. And so, yeah, they care. I know that Stanley Tucci calls me bi-monthly. Getting a little high over there. I said, Stanley, we don't do it so often, you know.
All right, so we got this issue, and it's not an issue that we have to act on immediately. We got steps to follow, okay? One part of the steps is you folks gotta do a field trip and go check the property line, walk that property line, see what we're up against.
After the meeting, if anybody wants to hop on the golf
Yeah,
cart, we can take
take
3
the
of
golf
you.
cart.
Debbie will drive.
Yeah.
It is a true field trip.
Yeah, Debbie's experience in the golf course.
Yeah.
That'll take 4 years worth.
John, I'll go.
I'll go after the meeting.
Sure.
Take a look
Okay.
at it.
Yeah.
Well, we can,
We gotta go
Because it's easy to get an actual visual on it.
Yeah, because we
Yeah,
just cut
yeah,
behind
yeah.
And I'd
800
also
to
like,
go right
for
directly.
you guys going on the field trip, I'd also like if you take a look at the unit that is closest to that, and just stand behind that unit and see what the view is.
See,
okay?
because some units are turned this way, like Tucci and I can't remember the new neighbors, and their view is not really that restricted. It's gonna be the O'Connors and the other people who look directly behind them.
So
That's
John
what I
and I've already been
thought.
hoping.
Yeah, I mean, that's only like 4 units there that look directly out the lake. And the condos are only here part-time.
Watch the bugs, there's a bunch of bugs over there.
Yeah, we won't go down in the ditch.
Yeah, please don't go into the ditch, because there is critters in there. There are critters in there.
911 will never find you.
Yeah. All right,
Jim? The chance, and I know this is probably a snowball's chance in hell, of our purchasing that section, like to the little creek line that goes there, probably is a non-issue, because they don't want it
it's
mowed.
always an option, Debbie, always an option. Nothing is off the table at this point, all right? Nothing is off the table. The first step is to get a visual and get a good idea of what we're up against, okay? They might say, yeah, for 10 grand, you can have that. We don't know.
And then we don't have to spend the money on attorney.
Exactly, and then we own the property, you know, it's.
Put up our
But since it's a mowing issue and they don't want to see,
It's not only a mowing issue, it's the lake maintenance issue. Now, we all share the lakes, we all share responsibility on the maintenance of the
Right.
lakes. It's a visual for the owners. It's labor intensive to keep that area clean. Okay, nothing's off the table.
If we paid $14,000 for it, we could get a payback in 14 years, because then we could charge them $1,000 a year because their pumps are on our field. If we bought it.
But wait a second, that pump is a county. No, the lift
I'm
station is
talking-
county.
yeah, but I'm talking about their well is
Their
ours.
well, or shut the well down.
After we buy it.
I have to say, this
Okay, let's have one meeting going
This
on.
is a classic prescriptive easement case.
Oh, yeah.
This is on all points. We have a prescriptive easement, and it would be simple to prove because we have maintained it for way over 20 years.
You wanna represent us in court?
I'm
But she
not-
can't, she's not licensed, and
I was disbarred. No.
No.
I was never barred.
she was caught up in a quid pro quo situation.
Yeah, right, don't start, but this is.
She doesn't go to the
this
bar.
is- This is a, I think this is a classic case that we could win if we wanted to spend the money.
$10,000.
But I think, and I think it's a very strong case, but I think we have to come up with other alternatives if we
Right.
can. Because they don't want any expenses.
No.
Then they have issues as it is that I'm
Right.
aware of that I don't wanna bring out, but, go ahead, John.
Why can't we just play hardball with them and say, look we'll give you 10,000 for that piece of property. If you don't want that deal, we'll go to
Watch
court
out.
and you'll spend 20,000 instead of getting 10.
Okay.
Because those are a very good options. Everybody's had a
Yeah, I
good
mean,
suggestion,
this
you know,
is
we don't
all
know.
good stuff, this is all good stuff.
Kinda makes sense.
But we're at the starting point now, okay, we're at the starting point.
This thing wouldn't have to be even decided on Monday. You could
Right,
still-
no,
I mean,
it
you know.
should, no, it's not.
But I think when we do that, we should go in and offer to pay the money and not threaten them, and then if
Right.
they don't, because then, you know, then they're gonna,
You get more
the guns are gonna be drawn and
Exactly,
then,
exactly.
We're the big boy in town, let's prove it.
but not, you're not paying the.
All right,
just to be-
let's move on. You guys take your little field trip over there and be careful. Before we go any further, I want to say congratulations to Miss Tammy. Saturday, super job. I went around and I saw Tammy at the end and she was still hawking wares. But I want you to know, we did have 4 complaints.
Of course, not your fault.
From owners about garage sale signs out on the entryways.
On Cortez.
We had them out on Cortez, I think it was Thursday, Friday.
We had them out on Wednesday and I
Wednesday, and we
pulled
pulled
them.
them.
Yeah, we
We
pulled
had
them.
them again.
On Friday by 1:30. Come back up.
And the same owner had to do it because it was the same sign, same.
Yeah, the same sign, same, hooray for me and screw everybody else was the attitude, I guess, on those few people. However, that being said, doesn't make a hill of beans to me. I mean, it was very successful. It was only 4 hours, and talking to the owners that involved in it, they had a great time. I think they were swapping their own junk back and forth. It was a great time, it was good camaraderie, a good community event. I'm not gonna let the 4 complaints, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it, and I congratulate anyone I want to.
Well, we as a group didn't put out any signs.
Right,
That's the
right,
problem.
as a group, we didn't do it. It had to be, it was an individual owner or 2 that did it. Didn't want to abide by what the ground rules were that the chairperson laid out. So sad for them, but great job, Tammy, thank you.
The lady right across from her, I said to her, "Are you moving?" She had tables, chairs, she had all kinds. She said, "I'm not moving, but it's not coming back in my car."
If Wildewood 2 or Spring Lakes ever has a garage sale, do not go to it
No.
because it's our junk.
No, but great job. Thank you
very good.
much.
Yeah, very good.
Very
What a
good.
good job.
Everybody that I talked to really had fun. I mean,
Yes.
people going around talking, and I talked to a lot of people, and everybody said no one parked on the grass,
Grass, right.
no one, you know,
There was no
came near
damage.
our sprinklers or anything. They
Nope.
got out, ran, or they trolled along, stopped when they wanted something, and got back in their car and kept moving.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's what they did do.
We did have a lot of traffic come through. There was a lot of traffic coming through on the property. And it started around, I saw the heavy traffic around 10:30 maybe, then when
That was at the up
Yeah,
at Pinehurst.
yeah.
They didn't come back, I don't think, because the
We got people-
balloons and the signs were the same as the ones at Pinehurst. I think that they thought it was just a little area there, because we didn't have much traffic in the back.
Well, maybe we could ask Tidewater Association if they'd be willing to, next time have a couple of road guards, point in the direction of
Let me say this,
where the convoy should be going.
our major dumpster back here that takes about 10 to 12 days to get filled up is almost filled from Saturday. But people who didn't sell
Sorry.
things.
That
Well, no,
being
but
said,
that's their right.
That being, put a garage sale sign on the
Really?
dumpster.
Hey, come on, I took 2 chairs out of there one time and reupholstered them.
Which are the
I went to my son's
You
house.
gotta stop watching the do-it-yourself
I
network.
know, that DIY show, I tell ya.
Oh, my God.
We had a piece of.
All right, I already talked to you about the audit,
Right.
okay? The annual meeting,
Annual meeting,
Coming up.
of course, is the March 9th. The mailing has gone out. Most of you should have received it as so far. There is elections in 2 places. There's an election between George Fisher and Monica Heigl in Palm Tree. And there's an election between Dick Bacola and Miss
Rapacci.
Rapacci for the director at large. Everybody else's positions are secure, as no one has filed against. So those of you who submitted an intent to run and are not challenged, you automatically have another 2-year term. Now, the state statute says that there are no more 8 you cannot serve any more than 8 consecutive years. So we're now pushing on that for some of you at the end of this one. But
Okay,
and also, by the way, going along with the energy conservation, and we want to thank Steve. Steve was able to secure at a very nominal price, $100. Was it $140?
140
bucks.
104.
Tabs for the toilets that we will give out to everybody to check for the flow of or leakage of water out of the toilet bowls.
yeah,
And
the
we'll
other,
do that at the annual meeting.
and talking with Steve, well, we could also do, is get from one of the big box stores of Steve's outlet, some flappers, because that's basically
Yes,
what
that's
the
what it is.
That's what
biggest
it is,
problem
yeah.
is the flappers.
Yep.
A lot of folks leave, close up for the summer season, and they go back north when they pour bleach into the tank to clean it out, and that will rubber. Hard water will chew up the rubber too. So we're talking about getting a case of flappers, just to have here, if someone comes back and says, oh, my tank is, I did find blue water in my bowl, we can make them available. John West, being the treasurer that he is, wants to mark it up about 150%.
That's a deal.
But no, we can do that for our owners. Some owners will have, Tammy was saying it's easy to change, but there are some folks out there that they probably can't. We have to make an assumption too that can't. And we as an association could have our guys go over there in 5 minutes, change a flapper for them, if that's the
Worth the
case.
water.
Whatever we can do is gonna be a savings on the water. Steve, what did we figure out, one tank leaking on a 24-hour period, how many gallons?
God, that was get them
20
depending on how
gallons?
it's slow, you can have 70, 80 gallons
A day.
a
A
day.
day,
Times 3 for sewage, for the sewage
times
part of
3
it.
for the sewage part, okay?
Yeah.
And that is 1 unit.
Yeah.
That is 1 unit. If we get 10 units that have an issue, 700 gallons, and just multiply it. John?
I wonder if we shouldn't keep track of how many people are changing flaps or something like this, get an idea. If we have everybody change their flap and nothing happens with the water, then we got an issue there. If 50% does and nothing happens, cost-wise, then that's an area. It's just a matter of putting a mark, I think, next to their name if they come into the office.
One of the things that we plan on doing is have a spreadsheet on who came in and got the tablets, because we don't want to double up and give people tablets. We're gonna figure that out before the annual meeting. Steve, you wanted to do it, started at the annual meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Which we can do and check off a
Yeah,
list.
check
of
what
that.
unit they're
And then
in.
ask, I'll put it out to ask the owners to get back to us, let us know on the survey, because we're trying to, do this and see.
Does it help if you just shut your water? I shut mine off.
No, unless, if your water's shut off and the tank drains, well, yeah, that's not gonna, but that's the other problem, not everybody shuts their water off
Yeah, I
when they
do.
leave.
I shut it off up
Yeah,
front.
for sure.
Not everybody does.
But when you turn it back on again, it starts over again. So-
Yeah, it starts.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I'm just.
And watch your water heater when you do that.
Now, I understand that Steve has volunteered to go and show everybody how to use these.
Steve, that was not
We have
my
to have a
effort.
certified plumber
Take the
involved.
tent top
Isn't he a certified? I remember.
We need
show and tell at the annual meeting, you want a toilet there?
Bring a toilet, huh? Everybody meet in the bathroom.
The brick,
One at a
Bricks, yeah,
time.
brick.
Why can't we implement something like that?
we can do
I'm a
that
water
too.
saver, I would be using no waters in at all.
The county came up with the $100 rebate per toilet that's
Yeah.
changed to a low flow.
Right.
People took advantage of
I
that.
did.
I did both of mine.
They also asked for instructions on how to bypass the low flow. They took the $100 credit. It's done all the time, right?
But I remember my parents used to put a brick in the
Why would that help?
Because it doesn't, it takes up the
That's
space of the
Space of
water.
water.
It displaces water.
Yeah, you put a brick in there, right?
So,
Yeah.
Years ago,
Is that right?
we got high boys on.
All
let's
right.
give out rocks at the meeting too.
Give out bricks too.
Out of the unit from Tidewater on that corner.
There you go.
All right, communications.
There'll be a couple of letters that we'll send out regarding various issues
And I know
in the interim.
there's a couple of unit owners' requests.
Yeah, there's one unit owner request, and it's rather unique. You'll get a series of pictures. It's unit 136.
36.
And this might, you might want to consider a field trip to 136 too, because what happens is it's on the corner as you're driving into A. It's on the left-hand side.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it was original construction or whatever, but you know the rule is nothing above a fence or a wall. This corner, and it's unique courtyard because it was built around a tree, because it has an indentation. So it has a little niche. And the owner, maybe 3 times ago or whenever, put this thing to kind of put things under. And yeah, and it stands about 2 inches above the wall and has been there for maybe 20 years. It's deteriorating, and the new owner bought it. Yeah, and the new owner bought it and just wants to slightly modify, but take it because it's rotten. And he wants to maybe in one area have it pitched so it won't rot. And so one area might be 3 inches above, and then it come down even with it. But we'll talk about it Saturday, Monday. But you'll have pictures of the existing unit in your packet to review.
Boy, Roger and Dick are down over there. And
You understand? You know what it is.
Bad
Right,
neighbor.
You guys
Bad neighbor.
can keep control of your.
You've seen it, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. It really, because of where it is, on the corner and under a lot of trees, you can miss it real easy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's not all that visible until you look for it.
yeah.
But
Wait a
it
minute,
does,
we can
it
pass
does
it around
violate
here.
the rules.
We can save a lot of money in pictures if
You got
you all
something there?
take a look at it here. And unless you all want the pictures sent in your packet. But here it is. Why don't you take a look at it now? I won't have to
You
make
better get a place to be. John,
80
Dick, we got a
pictures.
doctor's appointment, I know that.
Yeah.
Get this lined out right now.
Yeah, and here's what he wants to do.
Wait,
Doesn't
can you
he-
explain that?
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Well, I think what he
wants
wants.
No, he just wants,
pitch.
he wants to put a pitch in
here,
there.
and he
Yeah.
pitched in, right?
Yeah.
Down,
Yeah,
sits
it's
on
now
top
it's
of the
kind of
wall,
flat,
pitches down
but he
into
wants to
it, but
pitch it
he
where it
wants to
runs
pitch
out.
it the other way.
Yeah.
How big
So that
is
real
Because this
stuff-
is what's happened to the bottom of it. It's rotted.
That's what you see.
John, while those pictures are going around,
Yeah.
I'm sure you got this notification on the CAI about this, this proposal as 1148, proposal to prohibit condominium and
But he wants to pitch
from
the
adopting or
inside
enforcing
higher
covenant that
and have it
restrict
drain out.
rentals.
They were restrict
over the
rentals.
Over the wall.
Over
That
the.
restricts rentals.
This over
Our
here,
Airbnb.
No, I haven't seen that.
I just printed it out today.
You know,
but
and
I
without
think
water,
it's
Without
something-
water.
Well, anything we have in
This
effect, I don't
right
think it
here
can wipe it
towards
out,
the
but
road
it's,
is already swamp.
Maybe not, but I want you to see it at least.
yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
do have the
You gotta think
option
about
that we
the
can,
grass
you know,
is-
Oh, 2
everybody can.
years.
Yeah,
Between
exactly.
that and the road.
Same
Yeah,
for
but
this
this
lawn.
Over here.
Woodlawn has that 20 feet.
I know, but what I'm saying, on the courtyard, they put up a 18-inch
Now,
wall,
this is more,
and it's ugly.
this is more restrictive
They
than
ever
you
had.
just said, because they're
Yes.
saying adopting or
It's been there, then-
enforcing.
Exactly, so,
That would be
And-
really something.
so I just saw that and I thought we should be bringing that up today and
Yeah.
explain, because actually everybody could send a form letter. There's
Actually,
where to send it to the senators, you know.
Well, let me have this, and I'll put it in the
Yeah,
packet so we
yeah.
can all be
Yes,
familiar.
yes.
What this is saying is that the Florida legislature is considering a bill that would obviate our rules and restrictions. In other words, on leasing. We have a 2-year
Owning.
and we have a 90-day and restrictions. If this goes into effect, we wouldn't be able to enforce them.
Go back.
Why the heck they would do something like this?
Wait, say, can you explain that better, John?
It's the
I'm sorry, I
No,
don't
it's, if you buy here, you can't rent for 2 years.
Right.
Or you must rent for a minimum of 90 days. This would take them out. This would, we wouldn't be able to,
It's the
anybody come in
Airbnb
for a week,
law.
a day, you name it.
It's the Airbnb lobby
You
that's.
could buy a unit just to rent.
We don't have to do anything with this.
No.
And the reason why we don't is because in our rules, we say any modifications is now up to you. So they have modified this, whether it was this owner or the previous or 2 owners or whatever, because they've modified the original. We do not have to do a thing and they have to fix it.
Well, he wants to fix it, but he wants to change it.
No, he
No.
wants to.
He wants
You can
to-
prohibit it. I mean,
needs to bring it back
this is
with
the
him.
request. This is
Yeah.
like the
It's like,
building
well,
committee
it's
felt,
blocked.
the building committee referred this to you because they felt it was a board decision, not theirs.
building committee?
Well, you've gotta think about where this one is, because if it pitches the way he wants to, that grass that goes between that back courtyard wall and the road is already swampy.
It's always a swamp.
Well, you have a sump up right there, believe
There
it
is
or
a
not.
pump.
I know, but it still gets
John,
mucky.
Well, all that water's gonna
I
run right
can't
down the
imagine
wall.
why the building
Yeah.
committee sent that back to us.
Yeah, I
There should be
can't.
some type of.
Doesn't it say in our documents?
It's gonna run right down the
Let them do
wall.
it. This is
It's
not
not gonna be
for us.
an eavesdrop.
We vote yes or no.
The walls are-
Well,
They
yeah.
can say, but they should come out and say no modifications
no,
above the
It should be.
rim, that's.
Well, I can't say for them, I'm just saying, I haven't even done their minutes yet, and they may have done that, excuse me.
Oh, okay,
But what I'm saying is that it ultimately has to come to you anyway.
yes, but we should have some type of ruling by the committee.
I just feel bad for owners buying it
Oh,
and didn't
okay,
tell us
okay.
it before they bought it.
Yeah, I'm in the,
Get on your bike and ride
workshop.
past
We
the
took it
lawn,
on our bike.
down by the lake.
Oh.
The corner unit
it's in the
has
board.
an 18-inch.
Of this month, of
He
this
was
month?
sitting right there.
Oh, great, all right.
It's like-
It's
Just
soon.
got it
I don't know why that's
Okay.
never been,
Over top of the
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right.
I'm thinking back to, we say if there's things that have been done without permission, that when a new owner buys it, it has to go back
Right.
to the
Right,
original
but
rules.
they bought it without anybody telling them.
True, that could be.
And that's kind of sad. I mean, if I would have bought something, then after the fact, someone says, oh, by the way,
That doesn't look like it's
are you
really
talking
a
about
big
this one
deal.
that's
I
for
mean,
sale, that
what
I
have
got
you got
in
in
figure
there?
out how to
I
do
don't
it
know.
without seeing it.
Well, he's gonna put a barbecue under it, that type of.
Oh, well, too bad.
Yeah, no, Tammy's basically right. I mean, you could ask him to take it out
You know?
and be within your right, within your reason. Or if you really need a cover over there, because it's very unique, because most courtyards just have 3 walls. This one has, because of the tree and everything else, it has more. You could say you can do what you want as long as you stay below the wall.
Right,
And that means you just have to hunch down a little bit
right.
more.
Or I wouldn't.
No, that's But we did
They'll
have,
call you when they need to.
Oh, this one's
In the
taller
six-
than I am.
barbecue for them, clean it up.
He doesn't want the water in the courtyard.
Yeah, he doesn't want the water.
Well, I'm sure everybody else in this area doesn't want the water right down the wall.
Exactly, I know,
Oh,
I
you
know.
mildew and everything.
Yeah, gonna turn the wall green.
Absolutely. Exactly.
I mean, we
It's
did
gotta be
have
boulders.
almost a similar issue in the 600s when they built that beautiful pergola in the middle, four standing in the middle, and we made them go in and cut the posts and lower it down. So, I mean, every time they have pygmies coming, they can go by and rebuild, you know. Because the walls are really, the roof is really low.
That was insensitive. That was insensitive.
Okay,
There's that other one over.
I mean,
Woodlawn.
people are shorter of stature.
Yeah, put a big challenge.
Yes, okay.
let's move on to the Cortez entry sign renovation.
How did we leave that?
We leave that
Building committee?
No.
It's gonna be a non-issue because you gotta comply by the, documents.
My suggestion would say to deny the request and say if number 1, you should take that out. Number 2, if you wish to build something of that nature, keep
Can't
it
go over
below
the
the
wall.
wall height.
That's right. like everybody else.
That's it, that's what I would come
That's
back
right,
from
that's
the
what,
building
the
committee.
building committee.
You know, let me tell you what, I still cannot help but have some sympathy for this owner who bought this place. I'm just wondering that, you know, before something goes to sale, or do we just maybe go around and make it a project that we find these things now instead of somebody buying it brand new and then saying, oh, you gotta fix it all?
I think we talked about, you know, one of the things that concerns me is that when we have these exceptions to the rule, wheelchair ramp and so on, nothing is done until after the fact. If we've got these listed as exceptions somewhere on the paperwork we have in here, we can be the catalyst for these things have to be removed and put back to regular condition.
Well, and we are doing that in the last 5 years,
Yes,
but
but-
before that, there was no.
No,
And
absolutely.
the first thing I do is when anything comes up is get the file to go back, because our files are from the beginning. I mean, maybe there's one owner or maybe there's 10 owners,
Right.
and everything's in there.
Yep.
And there was practically no record keeping 8 or 10 years ago. I mean,
None.
none whatsoever.
How long ago did this gentleman buy this?
He just bought it.
Just bought it.
Well, like I
Just
say,
bought it.
that's something that wasn't in that file, and nothing was.
There was
noted.
nothing in there, no, there was nothing in there to say when it was done. But
Yeah,
I've
well,
noticed
that was
that
even-
almost since day one, because it's just one of those things that I see going my
Well,
around.
that's something maybe we should have put in their file, so when they bought it, you said, by the
No,
way, this has to
right.
be removed.
Right.
If it's, I'm saying
Start
maybe
Yeah,
we
that's a
should
good
do
point. Well, we'll start building
identification
a file,
now.
that's a very good suggestion.
Yes, because I think it's,
But
creates
that's very,
hard feelings
it's very
for the
rare.
owner. But
Yes,
still,
yeah, I understand.
I'm part of the building committee, and in their defense, some things that have come to us have been grandfathered.
yeah, well then
What
you
is
can-
that?
Okay, and that's,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
well, you know,
You
whether
have to say
that
allegedly.
decision comes from you guys or not, that was why we proceeded to send this on for you guys, because you've got the finite.
We
End of all.
don't even have to put a face on this. I think the key thing on it is that as we go forward, when we see it, we should make a
Put it in
note.
the folder.
When we hear grandfathered, we make a note, because whether it does or not, it's an exception to the rule.
Correct.
And if it's something that we can clean up sometime during the period of time that goes between when we find it and when else. But I think that's something that we just, you know, the record keeping, I think today for exceptions is something that bugs me. I was on the building committee, every time we turned around, it was something grandfathered.
Grandfathered,
Well,
right.
we know.
Well, how do you know that?
Well,
Yeah,
the
somebody
point
said it.
is in many cases, it may have been, but nobody on this panel or group ever knew
Right.
about it.
Right.
And grandfather means it was probably there for 10 years or more without approval, but it was there and nobody
Yes.
took it down.
Exactly.
So it gets back to your,
One step at a time. If we can catch one.
Does this call for a vote or?
No,
No, we can't.
well, it will at the meeting.
At the meeting, yes. All right, next item is the Cortez entry sign renovating.
All right, well, you know, we've kicked this around
Yes.
occasionally over the years, and the grounds committee said that they feel that part of the beautification would be to try to fix that sign up front that has a hole in it and what have you. So I've talked to the Florida Sign Company a while back. They're right up here, not too far away on 14th Street, and they sent a representative out and they took a look at it and said, yes, the lens that's in there, the box itself is still okay, but the lens could be updated and made cleaner, and so they are supposedly at no cost sending us some specifications if the board wishes to change it. Going up there to look at it, it's still a little low. The sign box itself could probably be raised up 1.5 feet or 2 to get better presence of people driving by, because they keep saying that things get in the way. But that would be very reasonable in cost, and maybe an updated lens in there, and you could even have it lit if you want,
that would be
because the
good at
power
night.
there. This for consideration. No cost to the association yet. We'll just bring in plans.
Well, it's hard to see at night, so if
It
you're giving
is,
somebody
yeah.
directions to come in here.
I don't want anybody to see.
Oh, sure. I
Exactly.
agree. I was gonna say,
That's the way I feel.
If we
Really,
could build a wall around it.
Take it down.
Yes.
Oh,
Lift it up and light it,
John,
and then
don't
build a
leave
wall
me
around it.
Yeah.
please.
So anyway, we'll just take a look at it. I have no idea what the cost would be or anything, but they were supposed to have had something in my hands for you today. If something comes in, I'll have it in your packet Friday. If not, we'll just know that we have something in the works.
Okay. All right, the next one is the sidewalk slabs. There's a bunch of them out there that need to be repaired.
Well, not that many, but what happens is every year I go around and it decreases every year.
You're gonna have to stop going around.
I know.
Yeah. You're costing us money.
Yes, true. I think the first time we did it, we had 40 slabs that we replaced. But anyway, there's at least 4 that I know of now that we've ground and still come back up, so they really need to be, the slabs need to be taken out, the roots cut below it and redone. So I'm gonna do an inventory before the week and I'll have an idea for you what the cost will be on Monday. But I'd like to, because it dovetails into the next insurance package.
Yes, it does.
These issues, we were canceled, let's be honest. We were canceled by our liability insurance because of the slip and fall cases and because, but even more because of the subjugation back on us by one insurance company, Universal, for the pipe leaks. They determined that they had to lay out $5,000 to $6,000 to $8,000 per unit because of our pipes leaking in there and causing the damage. And it went to court, and they sued for about $12,000 for each unit, and there's 7 or 8 that were involved, and they got a minimum of award each time of $10,000, which really frosts my cake. And the reason is, you pay a premium
Yeah.
to the insurance company to back you up. The insurance company then pays you the claim, and then they come back after the owners to collect it.
Yeah,
And
so
it's been
So you
ruled
pay-
in their
you pay
favor.
for it twice.
Now we are told through a blog that Jim gets, and he sends me, that there's gonna be a discussion, or maybe even it's a fact, that in the new insurance policies, if the association, what's the proper documentation? If the association has a subjugation rule in its policy, that it will not go after an owner, because now the association theoretically could go back against the owner because the money was collected. It's very intricate.
The law is gonna
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
July 1st, where it's gonna be more equitable and fair.
Where
to
the
association.
insurance companies can't come back after us.
Yeah.
But the issue here is because we were canceled for our liability,
Yep.
they're having a real problem getting us the type of quotes that we paid for in the last 5 years. In other words, we've been paying about $17,000 for liability insurance, and the best quote is $24,000 to $25,000 because
Once you're canceled,
yeah, and it's just because of this subjugation and a couple slip and falls. Also, we're being told that we have not had a wind increase. Matter of fact, we've had a wind decrease for 3 years. We should anticipate a wind increase also. And that's because now they're using what they call a universal collection. In other words, if you have Allstate, which we don't, but if you have Allstate, and in the past, it used to be that in the very far past, if the Southwest Florida had an issue, then rates kind of went up in Southwest Florida. Then it went to statewide. If anywhere in the state got hurt, even if you lived in Bradenton and it happened in Miami, it's effective. Now they're pooling the United States.
Oh my God.
And so if there's a tornado in Biloxi and it's by the same insurance coverage, it comes here. Well, you say, well, I don't have Allstate, or I don't have Nationwide, or I don't have this. The problem is not with the individual insurance companies. The problem is with the resale. Because every insurance company rebuys, they buy into what it's remarketing. In other words, they will take in-house the first $1 million, but they buy insurance against the next $12 million. And because the same company, the same organization sell this upper insurance to the insurance companies, they're nationwide, and so the upper insurance or the reinsurance is where the cost factors are. So, and this is the first year in our budget because we've had decreases, and we've been trying to keep everything as tight as possible. This is the first year we've actually lowered appreciability our insurance policy line item cost, we may get hit. We're gonna find out Friday because the insurance quotes come in on Friday. But I am concerned that for the first time in years, that we're gonna be under funded in our insurance line because of these issues. The good news is that we collect money for a period of time, and I think our insurance is $300,000 is our budget. And if it came in at $317, gotta pay it obviously.
Sure.
But we collect money over periods of time. We already have $330,000 in the insurance. So it may crack our budget, but it won't crack our money. So that's the good news, but it'll cut into our surplus. So we'll move for Friday, where we're at. And the problem is to get competitive quotes, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, John and I talked about this.
We've been going there, I've talked to 7 agencies, and they all want the ability to talk to the same insurer, the one that we have, because it's the only one that's writing insurance on 40-year-old buildings in this area, and that's, American Coastal. And so everybody wants to use them as their basis. We can't do that, because the American Coastal won't give Sue agent a quote and Pam agent a quote. They'll only give it to one insurance company.
And I think we have to keep this very much in our mind when we start figuring out what we're gonna do with this property over here. I mean, if our budget, and we all know it's gonna increase, so we're very tight when we figure out what we're gonna offer $10,000. I mean, we need to really be looking at something to get us through this next budget with this increase in our insurances.
Yeah, the thing too, John, I was discussing that, looking at with our particular agent, dragging their feet with coming in with these quotes and bits like that until the last minute where we have no choice but to buy what they're throwing out on the table. So we lit a fire under his tail and told him, look, we told him Friday, this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday.
Because if it's, we want to shop around. We want to shop around.
Well, actually, I told him that if he didn't have his in by Friday, we
Well,
would have to consider the quotes we have.
That will,
which we
we have. I mean, we took a play back,
Because we said 2 years ago, when Chase brought it in,
Right.
and I said, Chase, you're gonna have to, hold on, because the other quote looks real good. They came back $15,000
Less.
reduction. Because don't forget that the insurance agent is making a percentage of all these.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that his pencil is, as Jim says, is as sharp as possible.
And the other thing that we got going for us too, is that we're taking a look at, as far as deductions go. We were proactive and we moved the new rubber edging, right, so it's alleviate that issue.
Right.
The fact that the security cameras that we have in place are helping without deductions because of the type of cameras they are and how they're operating, how, their use on them. So what we're doing on proactive is being taken in consideration too by what our underwriters do for us too.
We've been a cash cow for the 20 years I've been here, 13. And, so we had to, I don't know how much it was, doesn't matter to me, because we've been paying them $300,000-400,000 a year for 15, 20 years and not had many cuts back. I would think that they could look at us and say it's been a 1% loss.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any difference.
Something
You
like
would think that, wouldn't you?
Doesn't work that way.
I
Same thing,
understand, especially when we
same
have
thing with me, I pay every
nobody
year.
that wants to
Exactly.
compete.
They're not gonna pay.
Yeah.
It's a one insurance world out here.
How about this? I'm on the board of the Sheridan Vacation Villas in Orlando, and it's run by Weston and Sheridan. We're having a 35% increase in insurance there. Why? Because of Orlando necessarily? No.
What's going on?
They, Sheridan and Weston, take worldwide
Oh,
capacities, insurance rates. And because of maybe a tsunami in Thailand, and on, it affects the rates in Orlando. So we're fortunate it's only Florida here, or the United States here, but it could get worse.
Okay, Johnny, I know you're gonna have your manager report.
Yes, sir.
Committees, Directors, comments? Anybody got anything else they'd like to see added to the agenda as it stands now? You wanna go on a field trip, okay.
Yeah,
You
anybody's
guys-
welcome to come.
The golf cart's out there.
Yeah.
Feel free. Just don't drink and drive, you might spill it.
That's right.
Are you going on field trip?
Fill the drink.
See you all
fill the,
Monday.
Thank you.
When my daughter calls me when I'm driving home every afternoon, she's in Miami, I'll say, wait a minute, let me put my drink down.
My cup holder's full.
Oh, yeah.
When you're
Thank
dead.
God for these one-at-a-time cup holders, I don't.
And the other one is you think we should be texting and driving here?
Yes. No, I don't, this is a